Hey guys, so today's Friday, January 29th, and yes, we're going to talk about the iPad. Unless you've been living on Mars, you know that the Apple iPad was announced the other day. And it's kind of not what I was hoping for. Just to reiterate some specs. It uses Apple's new A4 chip, has the whole oleophobic screen thing, has GPS, Wi-Fi, BG and N, and Bluetooth 2.1. Now what it doesn't have. In a nutshell, everything that the iPhone and iPod Touch don't have. You're not going to be getting any multitasking, you're not going to be getting any HDMI video out, and for supposedly one of the best ways to browse the internet, don't you kind of need Flash to browse most of the internet? Which of course Apple didn't put in the iPad. Apart from that, the pricing was announced, and there will be two different models, one with Wi-Fi and one with Wi-Fi and 3G. The Wi-Fi only version will be released in 60 days, and the Wi-Fi plus 3G version will be released in 90 days, and both are already available for pre-order on the Apple website. The capacities for all three different tiers are 16 gigs, 32 gigs, and 64 gigs. The Wi-Fi ones costing $499, $599, and $699 respectively, and the ones that bring Wi-Fi and 3G cost $629, $729, and $829 respectively. Did I mention that the 3G is on AT&T? Yeah, you would think that Apple would have learned their lesson from the iPhone. Guess they're not that smart after all. Anyway, besides the various name calling, there have been a bunch of stories, such as on the New York Times, talking about how Apple just didn't feel like, telling the FCC that they were naming it the iPad. Apparently there are various other devices already out with other companies that are called the iPad that vary from credit card readers to miniature little computers. And because the iPad is competing in the ebook market, they're going to of course compare it to the Kindle. Two different stories appearing on the New York Times depict 3 reasons why the iPad would kill the Kindle, and 3 reasons why the Kindle is going to kill the iPad. In the first story, one of the main arguments is that the content is changing while the Kindle has stayed the same. A major example for this argument is that we're changing the way that we're consuming media instead of just reading words. Through this, of course, we're viewing pictures, watching videos, of which the Kindle cannot do. The other 2 arguments are pretty much self-explanatory. The second one is that the Kindle's technology isn't evolving fast enough compared to, of course, Apple's products. And the third is that the Kindle is way too expensive for just a one-purpose device. Since the iPad does do various other things such as play video, read books, go on the internet, check your email, and it's only a little bit more expensive than the current Kindle DX. Now, the 3 reasons why the iPad won't kill the Kindle. One argument has been that the Kindle is for book lovers while the iPad is not. Those readers that are in love with the e-ink screen and with the familiarity of how the Kindle represents and depicts an actual book will be at a loss when it comes to the iPad. Moreover, there's also the distraction factor. Because the iPad has so many different things you can do, you'll be really distracted from actually reading a book. You'll want to shoot a tweet or go on the internet or watch a video, which will kind of hinder your whole book reading experience that the Kindle does. Another obvious argument is that of course Amazon is going to continue developing and improving on the Kindle software. They're not just going to leave it stagnant the way it is. And finally, the Kindle store is going to continue to thrive. It's not just going to drop off overnight just because Apple releases its whole bookstore. Most importantly, the 3G on the Kindle is available for free from Sprint. No having to pay $15 a month for 250 megs and $30 a month for unlimited data. Of course, even though you do have to pay for the 3G that's on the iPad, it's still off contract, so you can just cancel it at any time. And finally, back to one of the biggest disappointments, AT&T. Why the hell is Apple going to AT&T for its 3G coverage? Have they not heard all the complaints from iPhone users about spotty 3G coverage, slow speeds, and just not being able to do anything on their phone? Now, in AT&T's defense, they did release in an article that they are improving their 3G network. Supposedly, they're adding another $2 billion to their already $17 billion fund to increase its infrastructure. Moreover, they continue their efforts to bring 7.2 HSPA all the way throughout the US. But the funny thing is, they don't expect people to be on their iPads on 3G all the time. In fact, in a quote given from the New York Times, it said that AT&T is planning for people to use the iPad in Starbucks or coffee shops or Wi-Fi hotspots so that it won't burden the 3G network that much. So in a way, even though they're trying to build up their 3G network, they're still depending on these one-place Wi-Fi hotspots for people to use the internet, which is kind of the same thing as them admitting that the 3G network sucks. On the plus side, at least the iPad is unlocked, so if you can find another carrier that supports the whole micro SIM card feature, then you can go with them. The only thing is that I don't think that the other major GSM carrier here in the US, T-Mobile USA, even has micro SIM cards yet. But whatever, I digress. The biggest disappointment for me, however, was that there was no camera. I was expecting for this coffee shop tablet device to have a webcam along with an outward-facing camera. So let's say I was at a Starbucks or another Wi-Fi hotspot and I was Skyping with a friend and I wanted to show them something, I could just change which camera was on and show them something, or take a picture and send it to someone through email or a video or anything. That was by far one of the biggest disappointments that I found in the device, on top of it already being with AT&T. So now I want to hear your disappointments. What did you want on the iPad? Was it multitasking? Was it a camera? Was it Flash? Was it a Mac OS? Whatever it was, make sure to leave it in a comment below or in a video reply. And as always, make sure to check out my other videos and make sure to subscribe and rate and favorite if you like it. Well, that's all I really found interesting this week. So today is Friday, January 29th, and you've just been teched up.